What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to today's Anfield Agenda news roundup. We are going to be discussing an injury to Jeremy Frimpong, some concern around Joe Gomez, uncertainty around whether Conor Bradley will be available for the Newcastle game. Then we'll be talking about an offer that, Max Eberl and Bayern Munich wanted to make for Federico Chiesa. We'll give you the latest on Harvey Elliott and his situation, and we'll give you some words from Arne Slot's press conference, as well as, of course, the obligatory little bit around Alexander Isak. That and lots more to come over the next few minutes, but you know the drill. We'll be back tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Hope you can join us for it. Until then, let's get cracking with the news. Right, we're going to start off with that story from Bayern Space around the news that Max Eberl and Christoph Freund reached out to the agent of Federico Chiesa, Fali Ramadani, in the last few hours to see if there would be a chance for Bayern to come and get Fede from Liverpool. No negotiations, no second thoughts, no hesitation. Chiesa himself went so far as to refuse any direct conversation, wanting to stay with Liverpool. And look, that's brilliant news to hear. We do hope to see more of Fede this year in the first team. And again, great start to the season for him, grabbing a goal as well to put us 3-2 up against Bournemouth. So good news there that we're not getting rid of any more forwards. Now, the bad news. This bit here from Lewis Steele, which is certainly true. So Jeremy Frimpong is in a race against time to be past fifth for the trip to Newcastle on Monday, but we don't think he's going to make it. We'll give you more from Arne Slot on that in a while. Now Lewis Steele again, but this time speaking about, a potential lie, another one, told to Alexander Isak, or at least, shall we say, the very least, a misunderstanding between Isak's camp and the Newcastle hierarchy. Lewis Steele writes, Liverpool remain on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. Of course, they still want to sign Alexander Isak and will absolutely do a deal if the opportunity allows. A story is circulating, though, in well-placed circles, not connected to either club, but familiar with the inner workings of the transfer industry. They say that Isak was under the impression that a bid of £100 million or more would see his release from Newcastle this summer. This is another one of those he said, she said, which will no doubt end up with Newcastle looking like the good guys, Isak looking like the bad guy, and all of the journalists and the media who cover it on, let's say, Sky Sports as an example, who love to just blame Isak for everything here and talk about his agent and him, but there's never any thought for if there was actually lies told to him. But let's wait and see on that one. It is looking less and less likely Liverpool are going to be able to prize Isak away, but again, it looks like we're now starting to hear more and more about what is actually going on there at Newcastle with this situation. Right, Ben Jacobs said, Liverpool's preference is to keep Harvey Elliott. Now, we've heard this one before. Liverpool's preference was to keep Luis Diaz. Liverpool's preference was to keep everybody until the numbers triggered, and this is no different. Leipzig still working on a deal, but nothing is agreed, said Ben Jacobs, club to club as of Thursday morning. Here's the bit you've been waiting for, though. At the right price, Liverpool will reluctantly sanction a sale due to the understanding that Elliott's desire to start every week. Now look, that is more than fair from both sides. Harvey Elliott's, of course, been a good servant to the club. He's a good player, but if Liverpool can't give him enough game time, I can understand why Liverpool would, and I agree with the word, reluctantly let Elliott leave in search of that game time. It's a World Cup season. Harvey's just won the Euro under-21s with England and will want to make his way into the full England squad. So totally understand that. Elliott staying would be welcomed by Liverpool as he remains a valued squad player. So let's see what does happen over the next, 11 or so days. Right, moving on from Craig Hope of the Daily Mail. So we'll start off with Liverpool will still come back for Alexander Isak. Liverpool saying they aren't coming back for Isak is total nonsense, said Craig Hope. Liverpool hadn't come this far. They hadn't given Isak that encouragement to behave the way he did without coming back for more. Now, I have to say, I don't like what Craig Hope has said there. Liverpool giving Isak the encouragement to behave the way he did. So we're starting to see a shift here in the narrative toward let's blame Liverpool for this situation. It feels as if they want to blame everybody here, but maybe themselves. So Liverpool to blame, Isak to blame, the agent for blame. Do Newcastle hold any blame? Well, if you were looking at a lot of the media, apparently not. A deal starting somewhere at around £130 million, perhaps plus add-ons, could have been enough to generate movement. Could have been, but they kept saying all the way through, it wasn't. He wasn't for sale. Then he was for sale maybe at 150 million. So Newcastle and Anybody covering the Newcastle side of this seems to be jumping from one extreme to the other here without any sensibility of what's actually fact. So let's wait and see what happens. Liverpool's Jeremy Frimpong, Paul Joyce said, is out until the end of the international break with a hamstring injury. So you can see how this story has grown over the day from a concern to now out until after the Arsenal game. So let's wait and see on that. Arne Slot now in his press conference today, speaking about Joe Gomez, said this: Joe hadn't had a setback, but he wasn't able to train 3 days in a row. We'll see where he is on Monday and if he can start. You can't prepare for injuries in one position. You can't have 5 right backs, although we do have 3 backs at the moment. Obviously, Joe Gomez, we've got Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley. Slot on the right back option said, Jeremy has a very positive injury record. Conor has been out twice last season. These things happen. We only have 2 injuries at the same moment, but they are in the same position. Wata, Dominic, Szoboszlai can all play there. Now look, he is right. We do have enough cover at right back. It is unfortunate that we're in this position. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say we've left ourselves short there. We haven't. We've got plenty of options at right back. We're just a little bit unlucky at this moment in time. Arne spoke a little bit about Giovanni Leone as well, a new signing from Parma. He said he's a good-looking guy, much like that Anfield Agenda fella. Some part of that is a lie. I'll let you figure out whether it's the first or the second part. Like most Italians, he's trained 3 times now, I think. Transfer fee, you can expect he is quite grown for his age. He plays like he's not an 18-year-old, fast, comfortable on the ball. He's had 3 good sessions. It tells you a lot about this group that you feel at ease from the start. And he's right. It is a good group of players. I'm sure they have made Giovanni feel right at home. So about Newcastle, this is what our manager had to say. Nothing to do with what's in the media. When you go to Newcastle, you know what to expect. We played them 3 times last season and twice their intensity levels were above us. I don't think they need anything to add to be intense at St James's Park. It's a very good team. They can make it a fight. They have players who are so good on the ball. One of the best teams and one of the most difficult teams to face in the league. I don't disagree. It is always a difficult task going up to St James's Park. But what I would add in there, I guess, is I hope that the guys are ready physically and mentally for what is about to greet them at St James's Park. But then again, they are a rather experienced bunch who've been all over Europe. So fingers crossed. Right. Lastly, a little bit on a potential Newcastle target. So Transfer Sector have said Wolves are facing a real fight to keep Jørgen Strand Larsen as Newcastle push to sign the striker in a £60 million plus deal, said the Star newspaper. So maybe if they get him and Visa in, who knows? Isak sale could be on the table. Again, clock is ticking. It is a race against time. Liverpool so far, well, I would say holding their nerve, but they're at least waiting to see how this unfolds over the next week or two. I say week or two, less than 2 weeks at this point. And of course, we need to sort out the Canade and Marquez situation as well. So we'll cover all of this tonight, 8:45. Again, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If I could ask you a little favour, do check out the Anfield Agenda Clips channel. Our dream is to hit 100,000 subscribers on there. Just about to hit 55 at the minute. If you could jump across there and drop a like and subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. And don't forget to check out the Anfield Agenda podcast. You can find it on Spotify or, of course, right here on YouTube. We'll talk soon. Much love. Bye-bye.